Hello and welcome to episode 21 of the CPRW podcast. My name's Colin. I do Colin's Punk Rock World and CPRW Records and this podcast. Today we are joined by Dan and Jess Saunders, who are probably best known as the Vegan Punks. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. I'd normally ask how you both are, but you're currently in Bali and I sort of follow your Instagram and it looks incredible. But how are you?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Warm, and it's quite a bit darker here than where you are right now.
Yeah, it's actually really glum and cloudy in Bedford right now, which is annoying as it's now May and it should be getting warm. But
yeah,
we were just talking to Dan's parents and they said that it's just been like the coldest April ever. So they were like, yeah, seeing like your Instagram stories, thanks.
Yeah. It has been a weird one. Like when the sun's been out, it's been all right, but as soon as the sun goes down, it feels sort of February, sort of January kind of weather, which is just odd. Which I think is why I'm getting sick. But I will blame that. So, if you aren't following the Vegan Punks on Instagram, I guess do you want to give us a brief introduction into what you do?
So we run a vegan food blog called veganpunks.com. On Instagram, we are at vegan_punks because somebody else had the name, so we had to use it before. And basically, we create really accessible vegan food with recipes from all over the world. They're super simple, often under an hour or half an hour. And yeah, we just want to show that vegan food is super tasty and accessible and not scary.
Yeah. How long have you been doing it for now?
When did we start?
We started on Instagram like
2017.
Yeah, when we were sat in the airport waiting to go on honeymoon in 2017, and then I don't know. It was just like a bit of a hobby thing, and then we were enjoying it and started to pick up a few people along the way, and so we started a website. That was 2018, I think.
We did that classic thing where like we're not going to be writing like big blurbs about the food, about like what's going on in our life. We're just going to do like a couple of paragraphs and get straight into the food. And then we realised that there's a very good reason that people do that, and you have to do it so that you can rank. So we've gone full research on that. And that to just completely change it. So now we try to look like professional food bloggers, don't we? We've got our photography up to scratch, our SEO research and all of that. But yeah, the main focus is just glorious food.
Yeah, and putting lots of punk music on our stories to try to put that out in front of people who are there for the food but maybe don't share the same music taste as us.
Yeah. Do you have like the like punk ethics with? I guess it's all very DIY, isn't it? What you do and.
Yeah, absolutely. So all of our content is like essentially the website's free. Like all of our content is just free online.
Yeah.
We don't have ads on our website, but that might change in the future. Yeah, we try to keep it all as DIY as possible.
Yeah.
Cool. So, how long have you both been vegan then?
I think like not long before we started it. We did Veganuary in 2017. I think you did that this year, right?
I haven't. I'm not vegan yet as yet. And in January, I stopped eating meat completely because I've been cutting down the year previous. I'm now, I feel like bad saying I'm vegetarian because I've not eaten meat in 4 months. That really isn't that long. But so I've stopped eating meat, and my plan is to sort of try and then cut down on the dairy stuff.
That is a massive step. But I think like brilliant. That's more doing so much for the planet, animals, people like yourself. Like I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, I think everyone's on their own little journey on what they eat, and like I was exactly the same. Kind of never thought I would go vegetarian, and then that happened, and then I can never stop eating cheese.
That's my big thing that's blocking me at the moment. Like I've like them as a vegan, And
Yeah.
and she sort of brings home all this sort of weird and wonderful vegan cheese, and some of it's all right. I'm still not sold on some other bits, but it's definitely improving from what it used to
Yeah.
be.
It's
Yeah.
really improving, and there's so much choice now. It's just finding the right one, I think. And a lot of the artisan ones are better, but they're also a lot
Way
more expensive.
Yeah. I don't love like vegan cheese from the supermarket. It's kind of fake tasting, but you know, in certain situations, I think it can be pretty good, like on a pizza or something like that.
Yeah, I wish I knew some of the ones Emma had sort of got, so I could see what you think of those, but I am not that organised. I just pick it up and throw it in a trolley and go, oh, blimey, and then move on with the shopping. So what are you both doing in Bali at the moment? I should have asked that earlier. But
No, that's a good question, really.
Yeah.
It's a long story. So we quit our jobs in, what year was it? 2019, early 2019. We had this big plan to start our own business, sort of like design the life that we want to live rather than like going to our 9-to-5s and living for the weekends sort of thing. So we decided to sell a house, quit our jobs, start a business, and then so that we could just basically work from anywhere in the world. And then the pandemic happened within our first year of really like trying to get our business off the ground. And then we tried, once we got our house on the market, again, pandemic, it went house on the market, it went Brexit, election, Christmas, pandemic. So it took us like over a year to sell our house. And then we finally sold it with like the stamp duty holiday. And then we decided, well, we'll see where we can go, and sort of like looked at all the rules, what was going on in the world and all different places. And Bali was the place that we wanted to come the most. It was where we had our heart set on. And they had visas, so you could apply for a visa. We applied, we had to do a 5-day quarantine when we got to Jakarta, and then there was also, we had to do PCR tests and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we ended up here at the end of Feb. We were supposed to come in January, but all the borders closed again.
Yeah.
Then we just got in before our visa and did. But yeah, so it's a bit of a, I had to go back to 2019 to tell you why we're here. So that's kind of ridiculous, but that's what led to it all.
Yeah, we basically just wanted to be a bit more free with where we live and what we're doing and stuff. And this was the first place. It just kind of bad timing and everything else that it all came together during a pandemic.
This pandemic has been a pain, hasn't it?
Such a pain.
That sounds incredibly stressful, but also very much well worth it now, sort of in the good part of it.
It was so stressful. Selling the house during the pandemic was like totally, like, I hadn't known stress like it before. It was so up and down and just crazy, but came good.
Out the other side.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right, well, we're also going to be clear with, we're talking to the vegan punks, but we're also here to play fantasy festivals because we love doing that. If you have never listened before, fantasy festivals is our sort of game where we ask our guests to put together their dream like all day lineup, whilst also sticking to some strictish rules to help to make sure the festival is diverse, because I think it's been a big problem in most scenes all over the world. I'd imagine that most lineups tend to be probably 90% all straight white male bands, and there are millions and millions of other incredible bands that are from all different backgrounds. And it's be nice, I think, once this pandemic is done and we start being able to go to gigs again, to see varied lineups rather than just the normal what we're used to. So you've both done lineups, I think.
Yes.
The rules were really interesting. We both realized that we listened to too much American and Canadian punk.
A lot of people have had that trouble.
Yeah.
So I'll run through the rules first before we get in, just in case. So the festival needs a name and a venue. It should be in a 350 capacity DIY venue, or less if you want. The festival must consist of 8 bands plus an after-party band. And the other rules are, the headliner must be way too big for the venue. Maximum 1 band from North America. I changed that. It used to just be USA, so everyone would just put loads of Canadian bands in. So I got through that rule.
We had that just, we were like, we just want to choose Canadian ones. And I was like, no, it's North America.
The Canadian punk scene is ridiculous. It's just, I say it on the blog all the time. It's just like a conveyor belt of amazing bands that keep popping up. Like pew pew pew.
Oh, I love them.
Where were we? So at least 1 band that features someone who doesn't identify as a man. At least 1 band that features a person or people of color. A band that formed in the last 2 to 3 years, which I think is a really hard one at the moment because people haven't been starting bands. A reunion act. A band from mainland Europe because fuck Brexit. An acoustic act. And the after party band must be a cover set, and it has to be one that's not been done before. So yeah, they be the rules. Who'd like to go first?
I want to go first.
Okay.
I know Dan's is going to be really good, and I've really struggled with it. So I'm like, I'll do mine, and then you can get to listen to Dan's.
Before we start, if you go through your support acts and then leave the headliner, and then we'll try and guess what the headliner is. And with the after party band, you say the band that will be performing, and then we'll try and guess who they're going to be.
Okay. So what should I start with the festival name?
Yes, please.
So my concept for the whole festival is fun. It's just got to be a big party, an absolute celebration that we can go to festivals again, and just everyone is just there to have an absolutely amazing time with their mates and just enjoy really good fun like punk music. So I called it, it's shit what I called it. I wanted to call it like Vegan Punks Fest, and then I thought, oh, that's a bit shit because it's just after our name. And then like not all the bands are vegan and like, yeah, anyway, so I just called it like, and I want it to be all super eco-friendly, so everyone can like bring their cart, and there's obviously no plastic straws and no plastic bags, and like everyone's encouraged to like do their best for the planet. And there could be like daily like workshops where people can learn more about like looking after the planet whilst also listening to awesome music in between. But anyway, so I called it something like Eco Punk Fun Fest, which is like so dumb, but it was all I could think of, and I had started panicking about it. So I just
I find naming them the hardest thing.
So hard. I was just thinking, oh, I want something really cool, and I know that Dan's really good at naming things. Like whenever we get like an idea for something, Dan's just like, oh, I've got a really good name for that. So I was just like, the pressure really got to me.
Names are hard. Like when I did one recently, I did a Europunk one, and I was so stuck on a name. I literally, like half hour before we were supposed to record, I went on Facebook and was like, who's got a name for a punk festival for me? and lovely Jamie Munro, who plays in Aerial Salad, sent me like a list of about 20. So I've got loads stocked up now for if I ever do any more.
That's so good. That's so good. Crowdsourcing. I should have thought that.
If in doubt, go see your people.
So I'll start with, so first of all, it makes no sense. The festival doesn't really make much sense. Like they're probably not in like the right order for like size of audience. But yeah, so my first opening band is Knife Club, which I think started in the last year or two.
Yeah, they're new.
Yeah. I was really struggling. I was like, oh, I've got to try and find someone. And then I realised that all the bands that I thought were new were actually like around for at least 5 years.
It's hard.
It's really hard. I was a bit stuck on acoustic, but my acoustic is next, and this really doesn't make any sense. And it's going to be Frank Turner playing an acoustic. But and I don't want to sound like a dick, but like not the new stuff.
No, that's fair. The new stuff is terrible.
Yeah, I can't listen to the new stuff, but like, you know, just up until Take Deck Heart, like Everything's good.
I agree with that 100%.
Okay,
That tape deck art is when I kind of fell off the Frank
yeah,
Turner train.
it was so good. It was so good for so long. I was really obsessed for like, it was definitely, and it was he was definitely a real like a gateway band for me to finding out a lot more about the scene and a lot more on just like different bands. So my next band is a band containing someone who doesn't identify as a man, and I picked Nervous because they're awesome, and we saw them at Manchester Punk, not last year, the year before, probably now, isn't it?
Yeah.
And just love them, so much energy.
Really, really good.
I think they've just released a song about not eating meat.
Yeah, they released that with Shoreline, like German band.
Yeah, it's a really good track, actually.
Really like it. My mainland Europe band, like I struggled with this, and for a while I had my mainland Europe band as also my reunion band, but I wanted to fit as many bands in as possible, so I didn't want to have one band fit in 2 criteria. So I went for FOD.
Oh, right.
Who are really good. Like I love them, so much fun. But I remember seeing them live. Do you remember?
It was at Grows Rock.
At Grows Rock.
Yeah.
And I thought they lacked energy, but I still loved it. But yeah, it was just missing a little bit for me. But I still absolutely loved them. I don't know why that was what happened. My reunion band is Call It Off.
I don't know them. Yeah, I don't know that band. What are they like?
Good. There's pure like feel good pop punk.
Okay.
And they're also European, aren't they? They're from I can't remember exactly where they're from, but
they called it off.
They called it off, and I was sad about that. My band containing at least one person of colour is the Newtown Kings.
Ah, I love the Newtown Kings.
Loads of fun. They played at our wedding.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, and they were brilliant. They had, and like people didn't. Well, we did a playlist. We did like a whole playlist for our wedding. We had 3 bands play. It was Gorgeous George. Do you know them?
Yes, I believe I saw them once, I think, with Beans on Toast.
Cool.
Yeah.
So they're like Cockney, like folk.
Gypsy.
Like,
yeah.
That's so good.
Ska, all kinds of stuff going on.
And then we had not a punk band, but Thrill Collins, because they're just super fun. Covers bands, really good. Anyway, we did a whole playlist so that people could listen to the bands that were playing, and then when the dance floor opened up, like everyone was absolutely loving it. So it was so good to have people like.
That's awesome. I'm so happy to see Newtown Kings on the list because like they're a band that means so much to me, sort of being from Colchester originally. Yes. So they were the band that I always like. Like a lot of my friends, they don't really like traveling for loads of gigs like back in Colchester, but whenever they play like Colchester Arts Centre, it's one of those like just nice community things, and it's also nice to see a band from where I'm from go out and do big things, because the last one before that was Blur, so which I mean Blur, one of the biggest UK bands ever, but
bit different.
Got a lot of love for the Newtown Kings.
Yeah, same. They're a lot of fun. My North American band, so they are next, and I basically planned the whole festival around what my North American band was going to be, and they're the Flatliners because they are, to me, the best band in the world. I think they're brilliant. And yeah, so that's my whole lineup. Oh no, it's not, is it? Is it? No, I have to do
your after party.
I've got to pick my after party. So my after party, I don't tell you who they're covering though, do I?
No, just tell us who will be on the stage.
Bennies.
The Bennies? Oh, who could the Bennies be? It's got to be a party band, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be a party band because it's all about the fun.
Who's more fun than the Bennies?
Yeah, that's a tricky one to answer, isn't
yeah.
it?
What genre did the band usually play? Is it ska?
Yeah.
Is it Real Big Fish?
Yeah. Because so much fun, right? Like we've seen them 100 times, but they're never boring. They're always so much fun.
That's fair. Like a Real Big Fish, I often say this. Like, I don't like. I don't think I've listened to anything new from them in about sort of 10, 15 years. But I will always go and see them live because I know
Yeah.
it's going to be a good time.
And you know, more often than not, they're going to be touring with Less Than Jake. Also, ultimate fun.
And
Yeah.
I don't think, like same thing. I've not listened to any of their new stuff for so long, but I'm not sure I've ever been to a gig and not known what they're playing.
Yeah, yeah. It's either old or a cover. That's how it works. No, I think the last time I saw Real Big Fish, they played with Lightyear and Sponge,
Wow.
which was the most ridiculous, like, time traveling type evening. I think the night before I saw Hot Water Music play Caution as well, so it was really like a weird weekend of just being back 15 years ago.
Nice. I remember when that Hot Water Music, there was like 2 nights in a row or something in London.
Yeah.
Chris Creswell playing with them?
Yes.
He was in the band all the time, wasn't he? I can't remember why we couldn't go, but I really wish we'd gone to that.
Yeah.
It was amazing. They had like Red City Radio and Spanish love songs and support as well, which is just
Oh my gosh,
what a
real
dream sort of show. Was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I
love
missed
those where you go and it's like every band on the lineup is a band that you're just desperate to see.
Yeah.
I think every band on that lineup was a headline band.
Yeah.
It's weird to see Spanish love songs open a show now. I mean, they're not even like that older band, Spanish love songs. They've probably only really been going about 5 or 6 years, I think. But sort of how they've grown so quickly is ridiculous.
They're so good. Just so much talent.
Yeah, we talk about them a lot in this house. I think they're Emma's sort of favourites of all time at the moment. But
You go and see when they toured the new album. That's like just before the pandemic last year.
yeah, they played with the Menzingers, didn't they? They were with them, yeah.
Yeah.
That was really good.
And
we watched Dylan play acoustic upstairs above the Exchange at Specialist Subject Records
Oh,
as
nice.
well. Like a few hours before the actual gig.
Yeah,
it was really good.
It was so emotional. It was so good. He's just like an absolute
Like
legend.
songwriting is incredible. Was that gig at the Exchange then, or was it somewhere else?
No,
It was
SWX.
SWX, yeah.
I don't, it's weird venue.
It's like a
SWX.
nightclub.
Yeah.
Oh, is that like the bigger venue in Bristol then?
Oh, it's kind of like,
It is bigger.
yeah, you've got the Exchange and then the Fleece and
yeah.
then the Academy, but it seems like all of the punk bands now won't play the Academy. I don't know if there's like a kind of like DIY thing going on that they won't go there. So instead, it always seems to be at SWX now, which is just a nightclub.
No idea why. It's a good venue.
Yeah,
Like
it
we've
is,
seen
yeah.
quite a few bands there.
It's just unusual. Like you usually go to a gig venue, but instead you're like going
Yeah.
in.
Nightclubs. Oh, I didn't tell you where my venue is.
Oh no, yeah. Where
It's at the Exchange. in Bristol.
Excellent. I love the Exchange. I've only been to the Exchange like a couple of times. Like I saw the Run Up and Quitters play in like the cafe area. We went
Brilliant.
which was cool because I like the Run Up, a good friend of ours now, and I love Quitters. They're like a French indie punk band, really, really good. It was like my birthday weekend, so we went to Bristol to watch that.
Oh, that sounds like a good bet.
And then we saw the Dreadnoughts in the Exchange.
Nice.
Another one of Emma's like favorite bands. I think that was the weekend of Manchester Punk Festival in like 2018. So like we did the whole weekend there. Then we travelled down to Bristol from Manchester to go see the Dreadnoughts, and then drove back to Bedford. And I was dead. Like I didn't even really know the Dreadnoughts that well. Like it's just one of Emma's favorite bands, and she like really wanted to see them, and I just said okay. I just remember being sort of leaned against a post in the Exchange, sort of during their set, sort of half falling asleep, wondering how I've got to the point of like this, like because I'm sober as well. I don't drink, so I just spent 3 days at a festival, travelled down to Bristol to watch a band basically sing about cider. From what I could tell, it's like how has my life brought me to this moment? But they were a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can imagine they're a lot of fun. I've not seen them, but they've got that vibe. Like, you know, sometimes you just know a band is going to be a good watch.
Oh yeah, I had a great time, but I think like we saw them at New Cross last a couple of years, maybe the year after. I can't remember. Everything's a blur these days. But
Yeah.
uh, and I was awake for that one, and I did enjoy them a lot more. But I saw on your about us on your the Vegan Punks website that you're part owners in the exchange as well, or something, or you're
Oh,
investors.
Yeah, yeah, they did. I don't know if you saw it. They basically went kind of public. So they went community ownership.
Yeah.
So I think Bristol, along with loads of other places, has that issue of developers screwing over venues by building stuff next door and then filing noise complaints, or waiting to move in and then noise complaints getting filed. But by going community owned, they get like a level of protection. So they're a community interest company. So yeah, I guess it's like they're recognized as being someone that gives something back. Yeah, they're essential.
They are essential.
They are. I'd agree with that. They are essential.
Yeah, so they just did like a kind of funding thing, and I don't know.
We just felt like we had to,
Yeah.
like we just go there all the time. I don't know what we'd do if they closed down. It would be so sad.
And I think they got hundreds of people now, like kind of technically part owners in the exchange.
And we got cool tote bags.
Yeah.
With a tote bag and a t-shirt.
And I think our names, when it's being refurbed, is going to be scribbled on the toilet wall somewhere as part of the thanks, which is cool.
Well, that's like a punk medal of honor. That is, having a name on a toilet wall. That's awesome. Now we were supposed to go for Bristol Booze Cruise last year.
Oh, so were we.
Yeah.
We were so excited for that lineup, but then obviously, I don't know if it's coming back next year. Hopefully,
because that's one of the guys from the run up is involved in organising that.
Yeah, Daniel is. Yeah. Lovely man.
Yeah, his partner or wife, fiance does our accounts.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So I love about the punk scene. It's all it's sort of what's the phrase? Like everyone knows each other through someone else, which is just because I know it's sort of like I'm friends with Dan on Facebook now. Like you know my friends Toby and Craig.
Oh yeah, we've gone through like Grows Rock.
Yeah.
We had a mutual friend that we went to Grows Rock with, and then met Toby and Craig and hung out for.
And had like a really nice moment during Frank Turner, actually, like a big sing along together, which is cool.
Because he was playing all the hits. He didn't play any of the new stuff.
Oh, good. That's the good stuff. I miss Toby and Craig. I'm hopefully be able to see them in next month if the world doesn't stops breaking. Fingers crossed. We'll ask some more questions before we move on to Dan's.
You haven't guessed my headliner yet.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, we haven't. Sorry, yeah.
Um,
some reason I just thought it was the Flatliners because the Flatliners.
Yeah. Well, I wanted them. I would have chosen the Flatliners, but I don't think they're too big for the exchange because we've watched them there.
I think they're on the edge or marginally too big.
They'd probably sell it out, but they wouldn't sell it out by much. I think it's one of them. So we're going even bigger than the Flatliners.
Oh, this band's massive.
And obviously not North American.
And they're from the UK, or
they are from the UK.
Okay, we've not gone down the Australian route. Massive UK band. Who's the biggest UK band I can think of? I'm assuming they're still punk.
They are. I've seen interviews with them where they say that they don't class themselves as being punk, but they are. I think they are. They've got bands who are punks.
Yeah. Oh, I think I know. I can't remember their name. They're from Bristol.
Yes.
Yeah. Are they Idols?
Yeah.
I got one. I'm rubbish at this usually.
I think I gave you some good clues there.
Yeah, I forgot just because I also thought the Flatliners.
Yeah.
I would always go watch them as a headliner somewhere.
I don't really ever listen to idols, but like when I've seen clips of them playing live, they look so good. Like it's like a really good intensity.
Yeah, we went to see them in Glasgow because, like, even though they're from Bristol and they've been probably gigging Bristol for like literally years, we did not ever see them, and we came to them quite late actually, and then we just like absolutely like loved. What's the album? This is my headliner. Like, I can't even think of what the album's called.
Someone that follows us on Instagram like saw like when we had like some music on top of some of our stories, replied to us and was like, have you heard of Idols yet? If you like punk music, you've got to check them out. And that was how
that was it. And then it just became obsessed. So like just put that album on repeat.
They seem to just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, they
like,
did.
Then all of a sudden there's oh, have you heard this new really big band? They're called Idols. Like, what?
They did explode, and like we have very vivid memories of being served drinks by, is his name Dev, the bass player, like because he worked at the Exchange. They did just suddenly come out of nowhere because he was working there and then he wasn't, and they were like playing big tours and stuff.
Like they were like huge, and I think they seem huge in America. They like constantly seem to be on tour in America. And that Glastonbury set, which we watched on TV.
I've watched the Danny Nedelko clip that's on YouTube so many times. It's such a good. It's like that's what you want to see at a live music sort of festival, like that kind of the crowd and the band being like one, and like it's such a good set.
They really pull that off, and because they've got such good messages to put across as well, like they're full of positivity and. Just saying what we're all thinking.
We travelled up to Glasgow to see them, and just incredible. It was just so much energy. It was so good, and the busiest crowd. Right, it was like so busy.
Raucous.
Would you come? Would you come to my festival?
I think I would. I like how varied it is as well, with like the different styles. Like. You won't often see Knife Club and Newtown Kings and Frank Turner all on the same lineup. You have to think how much that'll cost to put on, though.
Yeah, it would be quite expensive, I think.
Yeah.
I think you're bringing Bennies across the world to play a cover set, which is just marvellous.
It's a good job I wasn't thinking about the budget. In this fantasy world, I've got an unlimited budget.
You've been saving up for the past couple of years.
And obviously, because it's an eco-fest, they are also like rowing to Bristol rather than flying, I'm sure.
Yeah. Or offsetting the price.
Yeah.
That counts? Doesn't count, does it?
I mean, I imagine that's still probably cheaper than getting Real Big Fish to come and play a set, but get the Bennies to come play a Real Big Fish set.
Yeah, probably,
So we'll go back to the interview stage of this podcast, if you like. So I spoke like just about, I think like trying easing into becoming a vegan. Like, what tips do you have for like people who do want to make the jump?
God, that's a good question.
I would say.
Thanks very much. I worked hard on that.
Go at your own pace, and everything that you do, like, means something. So like, don't be hard on yourself. Like if say you had 2 vegan meals out of 3 one day, like that's incredible. Like that's so much better than you might have done the day before or the weeks before. And I would say that don't let people, because a lot of people are like, you shouldn't have that, or you shouldn't do this, or you slipped up so you're not vegan anymore. Like, don't listen to those people. That's not a good attitude. Like, if you slip up, that's fine. And then the other thing I'd say, as far as like practicalities, I think just trying to veganize the food, your favorite food, the stuff that you eat all the time, like step by step, is a really approachable way of doing it, because like otherwise you think, well, what am I going to eat if I can't have spaghetti bolognese anymore because there's meat and parmesan on top? You think, actually, well, I'll try the frozen meat from Sainsbury's, the frozen meat-free mince, and a vegan parmesan, and see how I get on. I think that's my best tips.
Yeah, like on the like doing it at your own pace and like that online criticism stuff, I'd say like if you there's some really good communities on Facebook, like Facebook groups to join, but on that front, there's also like just with any section of life, there's loads of toxic people in there who want to belittle people or tell them they're not doing something right, or you know, you should just go vegan overnight. That doesn't work for a lot of people. It doesn't, like, I didn't do it. Plenty of people don't do it. Those people are doing more harm than good and putting people off. So I think
it's just Facebook, isn't it?
Just ignore those people, yeah. But I think there's never been a better time, because if you go to any supermarket now, there's, you know, like you can get vegan creme fraiche, and you can get vegan cheese and sausages and burgers and chicken.
Yeah,
and
even like when we
bacon,
went vegan, like 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was hardly any of that. It was like still, I mean, not difficult, because I was veggie before and you'd gone veggie at the same time as me. And then, yeah, we just tried, like gradually tried to try different things. And there was nowhere near as much choice. Like we must have been about a year before everything exploded. And now like supermarkets are all warring against each other for like the vegan pound.
It is.
Quite good, actually.
It's a war. It's crazy. And then you've got like people like Greg's jumping in action and releasing vegan sausage rolls and steak bakes and stuff. You know, like I think that's when you know that change is coming, and it's just going to keep getting better and easier for people to do it, I think.
Yeah, I found like when you're saying about the frozen mince, I actually prefer that now to like proper mince, which I think, I mean, Tesco's lately, I'm going to call out the company I work for on this podcast, which hopefully they don't listen, but hopefully they do, so they change this, but they've recently changed their mince, and it's horrible, or it's not horrible strong, but it's just not as good as it used to be. So Mr. Tesco, sort that out from your employee, who's probably going to get sacked if you hear this. It'll be fine.
That's when that happens, where you rely on a product for so long and then they go and change the recipe. Upsetting.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they've done that, because it was really good before. There was no, unless they've sort of done it to cut costs or something, but their Tesco's have got loads of money. So
sometimes I think they change suppliers for things as well. So like you put something that's in the exact same packaging, but they've had a different company make it. And there's been a couple of things recently where supermarkets have added milk powder to things, and that didn't previously have it in. So that's why I've seen it, because there's people in Facebook groups having a little rant. Milk powder's been added to something.
Milk powder, that's the
one to watch out for.
Now, those like I say, Facebook is one of the most toxic places you can go on the internet. But like Emma uses the accidentally vegan Facebook group quite a lot, and that's actually been very handy for finding stuff that we didn't realize was vegan. Or and there's like, I'd say there's like community, like we like, which is part of like a Bedford vegan group, and like they like will often sort of bring up something if there's like a really good takeaway that does vegan stuff now, which is because since we've stopped going to gigs, because we can't at the moment, since we've been forced to stop going to gigs, and so we do like takeaway Friday every other Friday, because we haven't been able, just to spend the money we'd usually sort of spend on trains and help out a local business and treat ourselves. So we've found quite a few good vegan options now, which is nice to see, especially in a town like Bedford, which isn't like that big. So
like in all small little towns now, vegan options popping up everywhere. It's brilliant. And what's your favourite thing that you've tried on one of your takeaway Fridays?
There's a place called the Vegan Fryer, which is essentially like vegan junk food that we go to quite a lot, which is really nice. I'm so rubbish at names, because you just go and Just Eat and click on things and find stuff. Now we tried it was more like a Southern Indian type Indian, which is apparently more vegan and veggie based. And I had like a mushroom masala, which was really nice quite recently. And we found a good Chinese actually recently as well. I could name drop them all, but I can't remember what they're called. So they were nice.
Oh, that sounds good. It's making me hungry.
Love it. I think it's fairly easy, like to find vegan options in Indian takeaway most of the time, even if you end up ordering like a couple of sides and some rice.
I think so. Like, have you found like obviously in the time you've been vegan, like the restaurants as well, like that are knocking around, there's just a lot more everywhere.
So much, yeah, loads. Because we used to like, if you just ended up in like a pub or just like a random restaurant that you didn't know, like there didn't used to be anything, you might end up with like,
Chips.
or yeah, chips or some salad or something. But
Portobello mushroom burger.
good old
yeah.
mushroom burger on my days. Yeah, and now you can go into anywhere and like they've got 3 different types of milks. They've got a proper vegan menu. It's brilliant. But where was I? I went when we had that brief period of oh, you can go out and do stuff now, like before Christmas. I went somewhere and there was a place that didn't have a vegan option, didn't have any plant-based milk. It's like, what year is this?
Yeah.
What year are we in right now?
That's surprising.
My privilege.
Yeah.
That's surprising because like a lot of places now will have just some sort of almond milk, won't they? It's just that's the
Yeah.
standard, I thought.
And vegan people aren't the only ones that like it. I think a lot of people like trying having a different milk, like,
Yeah.
and for people that can't have lactose.
Yeah, it seems to be more of a thing now that people that still eat meat and cheese and stuff still like people are reducing things and they've like switched out their milk for oat milk and stuff like that. So it is like it's surprising when someone doesn't offer something because I think there's such a big market for it.
Is it healthier than your standard milk?
I mean, we're not dietitians.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's lots of
Studies.
studies to suggest that various milks are healthier and better for the planet as well, like environmentally. I think that there was actually a big BBC article that did the rounds for a while on the environmental side that showed all the different milks and their environmental impact. And I think oat was the best.
I think so, but it changes depending on like
What news website
you're on. I think generally oat's the best and almond might be the worst. And dairy's the worst, but out of all of like the pub milk. Yeah. But when we were in our office, so we both worked for the same company, Ecotricity, before we left there, and they're a vegan energy company, and they went instead of having dairy milk in their offices, they switched to Oatly, the barista one. And I knew loads of people that were like, I prefer this. I get this at home now. We don't buy dairy milk anymore. So it's just trying it sometimes.
Yeah. I think that's a lot. I found a lot of people just, they think with like vegan food, it's all just like rabbit food, basically just lettuce or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's, I'd like, obviously, I've just become sort of vegetarian, but Emma's been vegan for a few years now. And so I've obviously just been trying it because we eat meals together. And I'm not cooking 2 meals and I'm not expecting her to cook animal for me. So but I've tried a lot, but then I find it's like you talk to people who are like, oh, what do you eat? And like I find it like trying to convince people that is you can have proper food still and it's nice and it's not just bland. And because that was my misconception for such a long time with like vegetarian meals, is that it's just all really bland. It's just what seasoning you put on, isn't it, basically?
Yeah. And that's what gives meat its flavor, right? Like you season it like a chicken seasoning, so you know it gives it so much flavor.
Like I don't think you really taste the chicken much in a chicken curry.
No, yeah, exactly.
Like whatever is in that sauce is going to be delicious because the sauce is the delicious bit.
Yeah. I often say, like, my argument is you don't go to Nando's and order the plain chicken, so you season it. That's always my example to people. Pick the big meat thing and then go for that. Attack that one. But like with you, like on like we'll go back to like starting out vegans. Like on your website, what like recipes would you suggest for people who are just starting out in veganism?
That's a good question.
Yes, that was one I thought of this morning.
I suppose like what you were saying earlier, like finding something that you really enjoy eating now that's not vegan. And so like we try to do various kind of takeaway style things. So we've got a Chinese curry recipe, like takeaway style Chinese curry that that is one of our more popular recipes that I think is good.
There's like Singapore chow mein. So we tried to choose things that we know people will be having at home anyway, and just create a really delicious and easy to make vegan version. So there's all sorts of different curries that we've done recently, and even a roast dinner, because I think that's a really big one.
Yeah.
So like, what do you have? Like even if like potato, you know, you can't have your mum's roast potatoes because they're made in animal fat, and so just, you know, having a simple recipe to do vegan ones, that's just like it can make such a massive difference. So we did loads of roast dinner style recipes, especially around Christmas.
Yeah, we've done, or Emma's done. I don't do that much cooking. I do Mexican Monday, and that's the gist of it. And I'm really good at chips. But like Emma's done a lot of your roast dinner recipes, and like basically you guys did save our Christmas, because we were planning to go to Emma's parents for dinner this year, but obviously then lockdown happened, so we were at home. And
I remember seeing your pictures actually, and I thought, oh, it looks so good.
so like Emma like really smashed it out of the park. Like that's saved our Christmas. Your Yorkshire puds, or Emma's Yorkshire puds, using your recipe, and the nut roast thing. It was like, so thank you for saving our Christmas.
Oh, you're very, very welcome.
Those Yorkshire puddings were a bit of a labour of love. I think that recipe took about 2 years before we got.
Because when we first started, they were just like little muffins, kind of, and then we were like, this is not good enough. Like, there needs to be a hole. Why is there not a well in the middle of this Yorkshire pudding?
But roast dinners are an essential part of being British, aren't they? So like, I think that if you're starting out, just try replicate something you love, like a roast dinner or a curry or something like that, and use some meat replacements. Like, it makes it easier, I think. Like they get vilified sometimes as being not that healthy or whatever. But you know, it's not. I don't think any unhealthy, like any more unhealthy than the real meat version of things. So make a curry and chuck some fake chicken pieces in there or something.
Just try it.
Just replicate what you were doing before.
And experiment with tofu, but tofu gets such a bad rap that you can eat much tofu.
Yeah, we have tofu Tuesdays.
Oh, I love it.
We're so regimented with our meals and like our days of the week. Even though we have no plans ever, we're so regimented.
Tuesday and Friday. What's Wednesday and Thursday?
Wednesday I work late, so it's the vegetarian microwave meal. Often mac and cheese, because there's not a lot of option. Thursday, often leftover tofu.
Really?
Friday is takeaway Friday every other week, and then just whatever we've got left in the fridge.
I love it. I love a plan.
Yeah.
We also plan. I mean, not as much as we were when we were at home, but yeah, we've got a spreadsheet.
Yeah. Lame.
It does just seem silly at the moment when you think like we don't have plans. It's like we have gigs or anything to go to. We're home every night, so.
Oh yeah, but tofu, it's all in how you cook it and what type of tofu you buy. So like for in your curries, obviously you need your firm tofu. But if you're gonna do like a sandwich filler, like an egg mayo with using tofu, it's always the silken tofu. And I think like people have really bad experiences with tofu made really, really badly, and you just have to try again.
You see like some post in a group like, what did I do wrong, and they've used some silken tofu to try and make a curry, and it's all just broken up and made like this
scrambled curry sauce.
I must admit, we went to Japan about 3 or 4 years ago. 3 years ago. As I say, time is just gone now. But like, and obviously most of the meals did involve some sort of tofu, but it was like the soft, more watery type. So that really put me off for a while. Then Emma, I don't know where she might have got the recipe from you guys. I'm not sure, but she got to like learn how to like firm it up with like a tofu press, and now it's like a staple in our weekly meals. So
love it. Tofu press. We're all over that. Love it.
Well, there's a brand called Tofu Co, like TOFOO, and their stuff is just like super, super firm and doesn't need pressing already. That stuff's good.
Yeah, I think we use that now. I think. I don't know. I throw things in the trolley. And like with your recipes, how much is like trial and error, like to get them how you want them to be?
It really depends. So there was the Yorkshire pudding one, like 2 years, lots of different variations along the way. But then there are some that, so like some things that we just make, and we know what because we make it so much, we know what the quantities are going to be. But then we have to just make sure that we write down the ingredients so that we've got like firm measurements, because it's so good when you just say a pinch of this and a splash of that sort of thing, and clean, ingredients. I'm sorry, I mean the instructions are clear. So we often make everything like 2 to 3 times, but yeah, so
like minimum really, isn't it? And then sometimes if we're struggling to get the right balance of something, it can roll on. We were planning to write this stuff and share it with people a few weeks ago, and we're still trying to like tweak something. Yeah.
Well, you want to get it right though, don't you? So you don't want to sort of put it out into the world and then people go, oh no, this ain't that good, because that's essentially your business, is to do it the best it can be.
Yeah, so it takes a while sometimes. If we're lucky, we'll start working on something and we'll cook it 2 or 3 times, and then job done. Just take some photos.
I do the pictures now that I know how to take pictures of food. Taking photos of food is hard.
Mine's like that'll do, and then I'm going to eat my dinner. So I don't do it professionally.
That's more my style as well.
Yeah, we can't do that if we want people to make the food.
No. Like, what inspires like a lot of your recipes? Is it from your traveling, or just something you have an idea?
A lot of travel. So we spent a lot of time in Thailand. So we did a lot of Thai recipes at first. I had I grew up in Worcester and like West Midlands. So my dad was always making curries. I don't know if that was like he just loved it. So I just always look back to that. My nan was Italian, so we did also quite a few Italian recipes to begin with, but it's mostly world food and classics from the UK that we think that there needs to be a vegan version of this.
And like takeaway style. Trying to replicate like your favorite curry from the Indian or your favorite Chinese noodle dish or something like that. Yeah, I think it's just things we've eaten and liked, and we've travelled a fair bit. So that's one of the reasons we wanted to come here, was to learn more about Indonesian foods. So we've done like a cooking class since we've been here.
We've just released our first Indonesian-inspired recipe. Nasi goreng. That was good.
It's like a Indonesian fried rice dish.
Okay. Nice.
Pretty easy to make.
Is like the veganism bigger out there than it is here? Do you say the more vegan options?
We're in a place where there's lots of expats, and there's also lots of like vegans and like people who are really big into their sustainability and like yoga and that sort of thing.
There's lots of yoga people.
So Bali's actually a lot bigger than I thought to begin with. So we're in this place called Canggu, and there's lots of expats here. There's lots of vegan restaurants, but there's not much like vegan stuff in the supermarket.
Okay.
And there's not a big understanding of certainly the word vegan, but I think also just generally what it is. So if you go to like a more local restaurant, they more often than not think you're trying to say vegetarian, and then when you explain like no egg, no fish, all that kind of stuff,
it's a shock.
I think they kind of think you're a bit crazy, like what are you eating? So it does exist, because it's not a huge culture of it, but there's quite a few Buddhists here, and that they sometimes interlink there. I think Buddhist monks can quite often be vegan, and there's also, certainly in Thailand, there's an element of Jainism, which is effectively the vegan diet, but they also don't eat any nightshades, so they don't eat garlic or onion, which
I don't know. I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, that sounds challenging, because garlic and onion is almost always the first thing we put in a pan.
That does. I mean, I have issues with garlic because I never use it. Like, and the rule in our house is like, if you cook, the other person washes up. And I never use garlic, and Emma seems to put garlic in every meal. So I always have to wash up the press, and I'm like, I didn't even taste it. Like, why do we keep using it? And it bugs me.
Okay.
I love garlic.
I love garlic.
Yeah.
You love garlic too much.
Yeah, some.
So, how would you like planning to expand Vegan Punks in the future? You got?
We've got an online cooking class, like a series of online cooking classes coming out, and some ebooks that we've got coming out. So there'll be a Thai ebook, an Indian ebook. We did a Christmas one already, so that's the next two.
Yeah, and then I think it's just like trying to get in front of more people.
Yeah.
So we a while back had to learn about search engine optimization, which is probably a boring topic, so we won't talk about it much, but just trying to learn how to get to the top of Google, basically. So we can get in front of more people and try help more people cook some cool foods that's also vegan.
And I'd love to release a cookbook. I mean, I don't know how we're going to get there yet, but
Yeah, that was one of my questions. Would you consider releasing a recipe book?
I would love to do that.
Well, I feel like everyone will like, that's a standard like Christmas present for people who, if you don't know what to buy a vegan, get them a recipe book.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
we do that.
Yeah.
We do that.
Yeah, there are so many good recipe books out there. It's always a great one.
So we've done a lot of vegan chat. Shall we do some punk chat? Do you want to do your festival, Dan?
Sure.
I'm so excited.
I mean, the rules are challenging, right? So I'll say what the name is. We've been talking about doing another project that's not our food blog recently, and there was a name I really liked for it, but when we've kind of run a couple of names by friends and also in like a Facebook group that's got some bloggers in it, it didn't really fly. So I'm going to name my festival that instead. So it's Rad Monday.
Rad Monday.
So it's going to be a Monday all day, trying to make people have a fun Monday for a change.
I like that.
And it's going to be in the Exchange because, yeah,
Fair play.
Surprise.
we love it.
Make it a weekender.
So we did manage to keep our lineups a secret from each other. So then I'm going to start off with a clash. Hopefully it's not on the same weekend as yours. It's the same venue, isn't it? So it can't be. But I'm having the Newtown Kings open up. So
Very
that's my band with a person of colour, because Dabs is an incredible frontman. It's so much fun live.
What I really love about them, did you ever see them or like know them before Dabs joined and they had their old frontman?
Only on like a music video or two, I think.
Yeah.
We never saw them live before then.
But he like stepped in, and it was like, usually if a band loses their singer, you kind of think, well, that's that band done. But like he managed to take them to another level. I know that probably also speaks as what good musicians the rest of the band are, but he really like took them higher. Yeah,
and like they play the songs from before his era, and you'd never know any different. He's a great frontman, and they're just generally good musicians, aren't they? So I thought that would be a good way to open up a big, fun skank along, ease people in. It's not scary. And then my mainland Europe band is up next with Jaya the Cat.
Nice.
I know two of them are American, and I think there's a guy from like Lincoln or something in there right now as well. But they seem to be still based out of Amsterdam.
Yeah, I'd count them as European.
Cool. Okay, I get a pass.
That's where they live.
Yeah. Again, like they're just fun. I've started off with a few kind of ska punk bands. I thought that would be a good way to get people going rather than the usual like put some small bands on first. I think.
I think that's always a good idea. Like Jay the Cat are doing a UK tour in October as well. Like the finally like rescheduled one from last year.
We're going to go to that then.
Yeah, we're going to be back in the UK then, I think.
Yeah.
Which would be cool. I think we've managed to be away like when there's no gigs, and hopefully we will be back just in time for gigs.
You've planned that well. It's almost like all the stress was meant to happen like this.
But if Back Rock happens in August, we could be tempted to go there first.
Yeah, just come back very slightly early, because Direct Hit and Elway,
Oh my gosh.
like some bands we've been dying to see live, and for whatever reason we've not caught them yet.
I don't think Direct Hit have been over to like the UK for about 8 years or something now.
Yeah, we would have been there, if they'd been announced. Yeah. But I don't know what that's about, but they seem to be coming, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
So after Jaya the Cat, I've got Faintest Idea.
Excellent.
Sticking to the ska punk, but getting a little bit heavier each time. I just think Faintest Idea are one of my favourite bands at the moment. They've just got that right balance of ska and punk, I think.
Yeah.
Like good messages.
Good
it's
politics.
kind of, the politics. It's delivered in a kind of classic angry way, but it's got all the fun ska music in the background.
Yeah, always fantastic live as well.
Yes.
Always
so
brilliant. Have you been listening to Bobble's new band yet, Rochambeau?
No.
It's like a super group with got Jake Martin, who was in the Junk, the Pete from Ducking Punches, one of the guys from JB Conspiracy. It's they've just released a video today of their newest single, and it's so good. So check them out.
Yeah, as soon as we get out.
Yeah.
Pete from the Punches. I love him.
Another vegan punk.
Yeah.
So after Faintest Idea, my acoustic act, I'm going with Onsind.
Nice.
Very good.
I thought a good sing-along acoustic act. And then from that point onwards, it's they're like the transition out of my ska kind of opening.
I love how you thought about this, and I was just like, yes, you've really gone, yes, this makes sense.
I probably put too much thought into it, but yeah, there you go. So my band that I'm pretty confident formed in like the last 3 years or so, Modern Shakes.
Yeah.
I just think they've got that sound that I love, that is the reason why we listen to so much American and Canadian like melodic punk music. And I just hope that bands like this get picked up, get some momentum, get the recognition they deserve, because I feel like there's a lot of bands like that in the UK who, if they existed somewhere in America, would probably be touring with Hot Water Music and doing all kinds of cool stuff, and just location doesn't always play well with UK bands.
So their EP they released last year was superb.
Yeah.
Such a good band.
Really good. And then on a similar note, like with this quality sound, but coming from the UK, I've gone with the Burnt Tapes next.
So good.
And like everything they're releasing is just unbelievable.
We should have seen them last year.
Yeah, we were like just before everything shut down. I think they were playing in Gloucester of all places, and gigs don't tend to happen in Gloucester, and I can't remember why we didn't go.
But we were like, they're at MPF. We're gonna watch them there anyway.
That was why.
But then we didn't see them.
Yeah.
Because obviously the world.
So if only we knew what was coming, we would have gone, and that would have been our last gig pre-coronavirus. But
yeah, I do love those guys. Like I've said this loads on this podcast, but they're playing Fest this year, hopefully, and I'm so excited to see them there, because like they started around the same time I started doing like Collins Punk Rock World, and I featured them like really early. It's just been so nice to see how they've like grown and like become friends with them. They're lovely guys. And I do miss seeing them, just hanging out, not even just seeing the Burnt Tapes, just seeing like Phil or Tone or Pan or Jordan, and like, all right guys, Such lovely guys, and they deserve like every single bit of success that they will get.
Yeah, they're incredible musicians. Like
Yeah, so
we
talented.
we've played them a lot
So much.
over the last few years, and yeah, again, like I just hope they, you know, playing something like the fest. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good opportunity. I hope they keep up the momentum.
I think they work so hard, so I'm sure they will.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I've got my reunion band up next. They've said they're on indefinite hiatus, so I'm kind of taking that as a breakup. But like, I'm hoping that falls within the rules. But the Murder Burgers,
Nice.
That's good.
yeah, they're a lot of fun, and I'd love to see them live again. I think they've just got such a good sound.
Fair. Have you listened to like Fraser's new band yet? Got a new band called Wrong Life.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I didn't realise it was something else.
yeah. I think he was working on it as sort of the Murder Burgers were finishing. So he's not. I don't think he's the sort of person to sort of not be in bands.
Yeah, he's an incredible songwriter. So that would be the next thing after Rochambeau. We're gonna have to line up the music.
Wasn't he covering for someone in a band that we love also?
Oh, didn't he play with Master Intruder?
It was Master Intruder.
Yeah.
That was so good.
When we saw them in Bristol, where
Yes.
they were, I think they were saying that Intruder
He was
Green
in
maybe was
jail.
in jail or something, and Fraser was playing with them, which was cool.
Yeah, he did that in the London show, and I think there were some people around who I think if you didn't know Masked Intruder or know who Fraser was, it was probably very confusing because he wasn't wearing a mask. So it's like why is this guy in the end not wearing a mask? What's the joke? But
yeah, he's great. That was a lot of fun. Masked Intruder, one of my favourite live bands, just from a fun perspective.
yeah. I think with Masked Intruder, they're a very gimmicky band, and you'd feel like the novelty would wear off after a few times, but it's just entertaining every time.
Such good songwriters, aren't they? I love it's such a weird niche. Like we're gonna write love songs, but from like a criminal's perspective.
It's such a good niche.
Yeah. I just love.
I say, it just amazes me how they wear the masks. They must get so hot and uncomfortable.
I love that they bring along Officer Bradford, and like he just makes the live show. You know, when he comes down into the audience and gets everyone going.
Yeah.
Incredible.
We were talking to him after one show, weren't we? And it was like he was still in character, and he was giving me so much sass, and then he was like, "Sorry, I'm still in character."
Yeah.
I can't say I'm overly keen when he starts taking off his uniform though.
Yeah. He gets right down to the underwear now, doesn't he? I don't remember the first time we saw him doing that, but yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, you're going further. Oh. But no, they're such fun live. But so it's your headliner next.
Yeah.
So we've got to try and guess that.
It's my North American band.
Yeah, I'm not going to guess because if it's a North American band and I know there's only one band that you've not shut up about trying to sing, so I think I'm not gonna guess.
I'm trying to think.
Oh, I might be wrong then.
I don't know.
So my first thought was Spanish love songs, but they're probably not too big for the exchange yet. They give them a couple of years.
If they're quite big enough, but yeah, I mean they'd be worthy of my headline slot otherwise. They're a bit bigger, I think.
I know you love the Menzingers, but I still don't think it would be them.
What clue can I give? Initially, they were also on my list as not just the headliner. I've got other bands, I think, with people that identify as female in them, but this band also has a front person who identifies as female.
Against Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Against Me, nice.
Nice,
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah, I love Against Me.
Yes, me
They're
too.
one of my favourite bands.
Not actually who I was going to guess.
Who were you going to guess?
Days and Days.
Oh, well, yeah.
Not big enough.
I didn't think they were big enough,
No.
yeah, but
No.
I'd love to see Days and Days. I was originally going to have them as my acoustic act, but then I wanted to use the North American slot for a headline.
I'm so surprised that Days and Days isn't in it.
Days and Days were supposed to come last year, weren't they? And play some shows in.
They are due to, well, the Slam Dunk that's been rearranged for this year has them on the lineup still.
Yeah. So fingers crossed that can. I was looking at the price of Slam Dunk because I really want to go see the Vandals because I've never seen the Vandals, and I'm quite often seeing face to face. But I looked at the price, and I was just like, oh, yeah, that's a lot of money.
And it's really expensive once you're there as well.
Yeah, it's one of those festivals, and I think we've spoken to other people who feel the same. Like every year, we're like, we're not going to go back. Like it's horribly organised, it's expensive. And then they announce the lineup for next year, and you're like, oh, there's so many good bands on there.
And then we end up going.
I kind of look at it as like, how many am I never going to see again? And like the Vandals, like I've never seen once. So I like, when am I ever going to get the chance? Because they very rarely do anything anymore other than festivals. And like Slam Dunk in Hatfield is, I think, 45 minutes from us.
Okay.
So it's kind of more local than going down to New Cross, which our usual local gig. So, but it's also like 70 odd quid.
And it's more of a festival feel now. Have you been to it since it like stopped being at the university?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of miss the university, to be honest. I liked that.
Yeah, well, we used to go to the one in Birmingham as well, and obviously they pulled that in favour of the two bigger ones. So the last one we went to was in Leeds. And it was just had the same issues that they always seem to have, like with queues and.
Oh, I feel bad saying that on your podcast, but people always talk about it on like all of their Facebook groups.
Yeah. It is like I always like, this is probably makes me look like a bad person, but like whenever Slam Dunk announce something, I'm always straight into the comments just to see people moaning because it really entertains me. And I think it says a lot about the people who are moaning rather than the organisers, because they're obviously doing the very best and it's a very difficult job. But I just think if you don't like it, put your own festival on, or like do something productive into it rather than they're just moaning on the internet, because there's enough of that anyway.
I think they put on a great lineup every year. You know, like it's not all to my taste, but they've got a real good variety of like alternative put music on there, and it's got bands that get people into the scene, and
I think they're really good at so like when we go, there's not many clashes because the genres are so like well planned out. So like all the bands that we want to see are generally all in a row.
And since they put on Pumpkin Drublic stage, like that, the last year was the first time they'd done that. I think that we went to, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we basically spent almost all day at that stage.
Yeah, I think I left for the Menzingers and Saves the Day. But Saves the Day were really disappointing. And we left to go see Chaz from Lightyear play acoustic because Lightyear are the best band ever. So
doing the acoustic, and we left to see Tiny Moving Parts as well.
They were good.
It's a good lineup every year. They just need to sort out some of the organisation stuff. And I'd go in a heartbeat if that was the only place Days and Days were playing there. They were playing at the pub next door to the Exchange, the Stag and Hounds.
Oh yeah.
They put on live music there sometimes for like small acts and acoustic stuff, and Days and Days were playing like years ago before like they've moved over to Fat Wreck and everything, and I was just like, this is going to be incredible. I sat on it. I was like, no one knows who Days and Days are, and then it sold out, and I couldn't get tickets, and I've hated myself ever since. I've still not seen them live because of that mistake.
Oh, that's horrible. That's the worst. I know Emma really, really liked their album they released last year before. The blue, the one that's blue. Um,
Um, Show Me the
Oh,
Blueprints.
Shame the Blueprints.
Yeah.
That's it. Phil
Yeah.
Sabaton.
it's just got the weird bonus track at the end that says "Go fuck yourself," and that just gets stuck in my head. It's really irritating, but
Yeah, that was a good earworm. That weird electronic.
yeah,
song.
which is just out of the blue and random. I hope when they play live, they play that live because it'll be funny. But we should probably talk more about Against Me as well, rather than just going on a Slam Dunk and Days tangent. Like, what's your favorite era of Against Me?
I know that there's a lot of like Against Me purists out there, I think, who like them when they were folk punk or whatever.
Yeah.
But I got into them a lot later, and so just anything kind of new wave. I think afterwards, I just love all of it. I love what Laura Jane Grace is doing. I think she's an incredible front woman. She's got like some great messages now, like with the more recent albums, like Transgender Dysphoria Blues and everything. I just
Also vegan.
yeah, also another vegan punk. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a few.
I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. It's quite a common thing, but
Yeah.
I don't want to be that person. I know these things.
Yeah, I'd say I'm less fussy with my Against Me. I just think they're incredible. Yeah.
yeah, it's a thing. It is like, I mean, I'm very, very like one of my favorite albums ever is Reinvent Axl Rose, but their new stuff is also very, very good. I don't see why people get so angry about it.
No.
And it's an amazing progression to go from that to this, and so many more. Like, they've got such a massive fan base.
Yeah, like bands change, don't they? Like, I don't particularly enjoy so much the new Flatliner stuff. Like since they changed labels, it's all a little bit maybe too produced sounding or something. I think the edge has gone from Chris's voice and everything, but I don't need to go online hating on them. Like they're still putting out music, and I see them live and they play all the stuff that I like.
You know, I miss when they like the ska stuff that they don't ever play anymore. Like when like Destroy to Create, and I was like, Fred's Got Slacks, and they never play it, and it's like,
Fred's Got Slacks.
Such a tune.
Yeah, I don't know if we've seen them play that.
Yeah, I've seen them say that. Yeah.
I think I've only seen them play it like one time, but we were supposed to see them at New Cross last year. Like when they came, they were supposed to come over for MPF, and that was going to be our friends Robin and Brett. They're like Robin is like the biggest Flatliners fan that I know, but they live in South Africa, so they come over for MPF every year, and they were also going to get to see him at New Cross as well. And they we go on about New Cross all the time. It's like Colin's Punk Rock World is essentially a New Crossing fan page, and they'd never been that, and they were so excited to see like Robin's favorite band at like the New Crossing, which is, I guess the way I build it up is like a mecca of punk rock now. And then that obviously didn't get to happen, which is really sad. But hopefully one day.
Were they on your podcast?
Robin and Brett have been, yeah. Robin presented our International Women's Day podcast, if you listen to that. And was...
No, we heard their fantasy festival.
We heard their fantasy festival.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, listen to the, like, I say this to everyone listening, not just you guys. Listen to the Robin's International Women's Day podcast, because it is incredible. Like, she is much better at this than me, and I feel like she should be now presenting this. But I'm going to get them on at some point soon again as well, because I miss talking. This is why I started doing this, is just to talk to my friends. So...
that's the reason, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun to talk about punk music with people.
I love hearing, just because like we've got friends who are into punks, but not necessarily like as maybe like sometimes like not as deep into it as we are. Like, so I absolutely loved hearing all of the previous podcasts that we've listened to, because like, you're talking about bands that we've been listening to and like that we've not talked to anyone about, and so like it makes me feel like connected to the scene.
Yeah,
that's good. That's what I found like I was missing, like from like going to gigs and stuff. It's like the 15-20 minutes between bands when you're sort of talking to people, like because you can watch a YouTube video and see a band play live, and just not get sweated on, and it's all right. But just, you don't get like that interaction, which is also like part of like I think makes a really fun gig. It's just talking to people about the things that you love. So that's essentially why we do this, and I cannot wait to get back June 27th, whatever it is, when Call Me Malcolm are playing New Cross Inn, and I can't wait. And I can shave this ridiculous beard off afterwards. Yes, and I'm so excited for that. I think we are planning to see my mum the day before, and she's been moaning at me for a good year and a bit now to shave because I look homeless and stupid. Her words. But
are you going to start the trim if it's the day before the gig?
No. I'm a man of my word. I will do it after the first gig, because that was what I said very naively back in like last March when I was like, I'm not shaving until I go to a gig again. And then here I am, like an idiot. I'm surprised work haven't sort of told me off or anything yet, but as a customer-facing person, but I got a mask on, so it's fine. So what? Oh, we still need to do your after party.
Yeah. So the band playing will be Eat Defeat.
Oh, I love Eat Defeat. Oh, I miss Summers. Oh.
Yeah, I've tried to get lots of good stuff on there. They're playing something quite fun.
Eat Defeat's going to be really poppy, isn't it? Is it in like the pop punk realm or just full on pop?
It's not that poppy.
Is it not? Oh.
I mean, it's like slightly, but yeah, I don't know.
Is it no? Is it less than Jake?
No. It's still more punky.
Okay.
But,
where are the band from? Is it they North American?
They are Canadian.
Canadian.
PPP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the appropriate T-shirt choice today.
Yeah. It's like I knew.
Yeah, I think PPP play lots of really fun stuff, and I thought that would be some good after party songs, singing about ordering some pizza. And,
I love it.
You know.
Yeah. Like I saw Eat Defeat support Pew 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 a couple of years ago, and it was just such a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I love that. I didn't realise they played together, but we saw Eat Defeat at Manchester Punk, didn't we?
Yeah. We got so into them beforehand.
Yeah.
So good.
They're just another UK band, I know, that are just putting out incredible stuff.
Yeah, I love them.
Also really good like mental health messages as well they talk about in their songs, which you wouldn't necessarily expect from like their sound.
Yeah, I can't think of another UK band that particularly sounds like them. I think they've got a really good thing going, and I appreciate when you know that a UK band is from the UK as well. That accent.
I was talking to a couple of friends the other day. We were talking about Slam Dunk and 2000 Trees, because 2000 Trees cancelled basically because all their American acts, they don't know if they'll be able to come over. And we were like, oh, but Slam Dunk's still on, which is mostly American. And I sort of made a joke about, just put some UK pop punk bands on. They all sing in an American accent. No one will know. But the Eat Defeat I love. So like Summers is a lovely, lovely man. And I miss him. Like he's got his own Twitch channel as well now, where he just games. That's his new job. Because he's normally like his actual job when he's not being in Eat Defeat, he drives bands around. He's a tour driver and like the tour manager as well. So his like income has just obviously gone this year.
Yeah.
He just started going on Twitch and playing games on there, and seems to be doing all right for himself.
Nice.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's a good pivot.
Yeah. I love that that's become a good business for people. Like I'm kind of jealous of those people. And it probably isn't quite as fun as just playing video games if you have no responsibility, but still, like that's a cool job to have. Yeah,
it's like that sort of thing where you feel like you have to play it, even if you can't be bothered to play that day. And it must then also be quite hard to be entertaining playing the game, especially if it's a hard game as well. I just get fed up.
Yeah.
Like, no, can't get over this level. I'm bored now. And then I'd turn it off.
Yeah, trying to let everyone see you get too enraged at
Yeah.
not being able to do it.
I don't know. That might be the way to get viewers. Go come see this really angry man suck at a game.
I think that would go.
Yeah.
I'd watch that. That does look like an incredible day out as well. I like that one's got a lot of my friends on it as well, which is really nice.
Nice. I liked the challenge of having to stray away from the North American scene, so it was good. It was good fun to have to like really rack your brain, especially the 2 to 3 year bands thing.
So hard. I was like, oh, Goodbye Blue Monday, definitely. And I was like, no, they've been around so much longer than that.
I love Goodbye Blue. I talk about them all the time, how much I love Goodbye Blue Monday. They like one of these bands. I feel like they should be so much bigger than they are.
Agreed.
Yeah, they've got, it's again that like amazing melodic punk sounds. I love the lyrics, like,
and you can hear their accents.
And you can hear their accents. Yeah, they've got it all going. For my birthday 2 years ago, who played?
Goodbye Blue Monday, Spanish Love Songs,
QPP.
QQ.
Someone else. Was
Two Doors and a
Two Doors and Hectic Pity?
Two Doors.
No, I don't think it was the Menzingers because it was at the Exchange. I think it was just those four, maybe.
I think it was the Menzingers.
Not in the Exchange.
Not in the Exchange.
Not in the Exchange. Yeah, we went to that tour and like we went to Brighton, and they did 2 New Cross shows as well. So we saw that tour a lot, and yeah.
Like that's just an amazing lineup. It's one of those ones that I mentioned earlier where I just wanted to see every band that was on there, and it happened to be like the day before my birthday or something. It was a good time.
Did they alternate headliner on that tour? Do you remember? Or was it just Spanish Love Songs every night?
I don't know.
I think it was Spanish Love Songs, but I'm not 100%.
It was definitely Spanish Love Songs when we watched them anyway, which was like, I quite liked that transition of just like dumb, fun music with people who followed by the lyrics of Spanish Love Songs, like some of the kind of darker, more depressing kind of stuff, but equally like screaming your lungs out, like both times, like they're just they're great bands. That's what we were talking about the other day. I miss being like right down the front in a small DIY venue with no barrier or anything, screaming the words right back at them, you know. Like,
I think it'll be weird though when things get back to normal and like being in like a confined space, and how will people react to that? Because
will there be like an interim period, like people have to wear their masks and there'll be like fewer people in the venue?
I don't know how it's going to work. It could, and I think there'll be an adjustment period for people. Like when we got over here after total lockdown in the UK, it's slightly more, I don't know, haphazard, relaxed, something like that. And like we went to a restaurant and it was packed, and we were kind of sat there like, is this safe? Like
what's happening?
We're kind of slightly uncomfortable with this, and now we've been here for a while. It feels slightly more normal, but like at the time, it was definitely a shock to the system.
Yeah, I think it'll be pulling off a plaster once you do it, and you feel like you're safe, you'll be fine. But I think you'll be very sort of a bit, let's say, timid going into it to start with. But,
I can definitely relate to that. That's how I've felt it has been here, because we went to like a little vegan fair that was happening in a garden, and there were so many people there, and I was like, I think we should go. Like, this is cool, but I think we should go.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
And I just sort of seeing photos of like some record shops that have opened, and just it's like, oh, nice record shops. People can go and buy records and support these businesses. Then I'm looking at all the people in there, and I'm like, what are people doing? It's such a weird thing, but it's good, and I'm sure it's safe. But hopefully, But it's just now that my mind is just conditioned to like stay away from everyone the best I can.
It's not nice.
No, it's I think a massive toll on everyone, isn't it, in all kinds of different ways. Yeah. But I'm forward to the day that gigs are back and they feel normal again.
Yeah.
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 Fingers crossed it's going to be soon.
Yeah.
So I would happily go to both of those festivals. I think we should make it as it's the both for the exchange, do like the Sunday and the Monday.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Double duty for Newtown Kings. I'm sure they won't mind. They've got enough stuff. Just play 2 different sets.
Yeah.
Everyone wins. What else we got? I've got some more questions for you if you're still up for answering some more, because we've been talking for a while now, and I'm aware that Bali is later in time than it is in England. I'm so used to going like to bed at like 10 o'clock now. It's this is the new life I lead. What else we got? Right, do I have more questions? Have we covered it all? Okay, well, how do you like maintain like the motivations to keep doing like vegan punks every day, like updating the website and trying new things?
Lots of planning, lots and lots of planning, and we did a course about how to run a blog and how to like learn about SEO and how to put all that sort of stuff in place. So we've got a network of, well, a community of people who are all kind of trying to do the same thing. So it's quite good to know that you're not doing it alone, and like that everyone's really supportive in this Facebook group. But aside from that, it's lots and lots of planning and doing our utmost to stick to the plan, and like having like we started trying to celebrate like little wins, like if we complete these jobs today, then we're going to go to the beach and watch sunset, like, you know, just little things like that, so it can help give you like little motivational bumps.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
think just because we're quite passionate about it, and it's something we decided, like, if we can somehow do this, like turn that into our kind of full-time jobs at some point, then that would be a pretty cool way to live, like doing something we enjoy. So there's an extra level of like motivation there. If we can do something like that, that would be cool. And like
that's the dream, to do the thing that you're passionate about every day. Like kind of like obviously like your Collins Punk Rock World, that's like your passion, and you're constantly doing it just because you love it so much. And that's kind of like the same for us.
Yeah, I must admit, I have so many, especially I think lately I've struggled a lot with motivation to do it, because the thing I enjoy writing most about was like live music. And it's been obviously over a year now since we've been able to go to a gig, and it's like I can review albums all day long, and it's like I feel like I'm just repeating myself and just shouting to the void a lot sometimes. So I find I have to admit, I've like struggled with motivation for that, and I've spoken to like friends who do like punk blogging, and they're like yeah. So it's like, so motivation is but you're right, like the idea of like giving yourself a treat once you do what you're planning on doing. But
I think that's really, it can be really powerful if you're strict with yourself.
I've been reading a book called Atomic Habits as well, which talks about some of this stuff. It's basically about how to build good habits and how to break bad habits. I would recommend it if it's if that's something someone likes the sound of, because I've been pretty good at being pretty lazy and procrastinating and stuff like that in the past, and I found it pretty helpful, like learning how to set up cues that like trigger you to do something, or like how to make something more difficult for yourself, like to discourage you. Like before we left the UK, I used to be a big video gamer, and I just packed up my games consoles and put them in storage so that I can play them, because I learned that I don't really have that much self-control.
You couldn't use it as a reward, really, could
No.
you? Because you were like, no, I'll just do this first.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's maybe an extreme example, but I became a lot more productive after I did that.
I mean, I think that's the problem I have. Like, I'll just play a couple of games. Like, I've got really into Football Manager over this last year, which is a bad idea because it's such an addictive game. And I found myself, I'll just have a couple of matches and then I'll do some work. But it doesn't work at all. But I had a nice time. So, and this is a hobby; it's not a job. So, I shouldn't be that regimented to it. What else have I got? Any questions for you? I think I've kind of extinguished them all. I was going to sort of try and talk about the Bali punk scene, but I guess as things are a bit.
That's a really interesting one, actually.
Yeah, we kind of figured there wasn't much of anything here, and right now there isn't, as with the rest of the world. But actually, I stumbled across the fact that there is a big punk scene, and it's like I hope it reopens while we're still here, so we get to experience some of it, because it's like half an hour ride on a scooter away, and in a place called Kuta, which is like a super touristy area, but it turns out that it's known as Kuta Rock City. And there's like a couple of really well-known DIY venues that put on punk and metal bands, and they've had like, I think they've had like Agnostic Front play there, and like so bands don't like often come over here to play, but as a result they've got a really like intense, dedicated underground scene of Balinese punk bands. And I can't remember the name of the band, but there's some band that just like everyone that's in the scene loves over here. They were like the first Balinese band to ever be signed to a major record label, and they're kind of like the Balinese answer to like Blink 182, and like in all kind, like they've got a good like pop punk rock kind of sound.
Nice. I do like I'm quite passionate about discovering bands that aren't just from England or like North America, because I've said this loads, but like as us in the UK, we have a very big habit when we look for punk bands, we'll look west. We never go the other way, even to like Europe. Like people seem very unfamiliar with a lot of European bands, even though they sing in English and they're all awesome, but we just think, oh no, America. Which is a weird like habit when there's, I mean, not now because Brexit, because people are a load of bloody morons, but like there's so many bands that are closer to us that we could check out and see.
Yeah.
In the good old days.
Australia as well. At the moment, I found a whole list of bands to check out that are Australian. And you're massively into Amyl and the Sniffers?
Oh yeah, Amyl and the Sniffers. Yeah, it's not the usual sound I go for, but
good fun then.
Yeah, I like it. It's good fun, and like I love the Decline.
Oh, I love the Decline.
Yeah.
They were supposed to come over for MPF last year, I believe. I was quite excited to see them. Oh, I have seen them. I have seen them before, actually. I saw them at Fest. I remember. They were really good.
They're desperate to go to the Fest.
Yeah, we've not been, but every year I'm like, should we go? Should we go? Like the lineup, it's just the best lineup every year.
Yeah, we went in 2016, and then we were planning on going to 20. We'll do it every 5 years because obviously it's a lot of money. And I didn't want to go to America while Donald Trump was in power either, to be honest. I don't want to give them my money. But we'd planned to then go, so it would have been this year. But then last year, was like our Triple Sunday and Burnt Tapes are playing. We've got to go see our friends play Fest. So we brought tickets, so then it got cancelled or postponed anyway. So we try and go for like every 5 years, I think, just because it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. That's I think one of the main reasons, and just like America under Trump as well. You were.
I didn't want to
anti that as well.
We did end up going to Chicago while Trump was in there, didn't we?
Yeah, but
that was for a wedding, so we had
to
for a wedding. But we also went to Toronto on that same trip, and we saw Iron Sheik at this amazing venue in. Do you remember what it's called?
The Horseshoe Tavern.
The Horseshoe Tavern, yes. Yeah. So good. It was like a little. It was quite big, but like everyone there was like singing every single word back. It just felt amazing to like be in in Canada, like listening to.
It was cool. It was like the back of a pub, basically.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, it's good.
Canada's very high on my list of like places I want to go see.
The Toronto punk scene just looks unbelievable, and it was a good city for like. I think they said it was the most culturally diverse city in the world, like in terms of the number of nations of people that live there, and there was good vegan food.
Loads of vegan food.
Nice.
Fun people that only served vegan food, which was awesome, and they had like a kind of punk-looking waitress behind the bar, and then when she brought our drinks over, we were just like, this is basically a playlist of all our favorite music, and it was just playing off her phone. It turned out that she loved the same kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's all Flatliners and Menzingers.
Civil War Rust.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Also, Toronto is very high on the list of places to visit when things are allowed and money is in my pocket. So I think I've kind of run out of questions for you, because I didn't write them in any sort of order, because that would have been sensible. But I got a favourite recipe you've created on the website.
God.
Peanut butter curry is definitely up there for me. Absolutely love your one. That was yours, wasn't it?
Tam tam ramen.
Oh, tam tam ramen.
It's like a creamy ramen dish that has tahini in it. So it's like, sesame kind of flavour, a little bit spicy.
And creamy, nice. And with like super good tofu. Then it's marinated in like soy sauce and miso paste and fried up with like garlic and ginger and spring onions. It's so good.
That sounds good. I'll get on the website, find some recipes and say, Emma, these sound really nice.
Yeah.
No, I was looking at looking this morning at the egg McMuffin thing.
Oh yeah, that one's old.
That is really old.
That one's old.
We're going through at the moment and reviewing all our old stuff and trying to like update it, because we've learned quite a lot over the last few years, and there's a big difference between what we did put out and what we're putting out now.
But that egg McMuffin was delicious. Like, I don't care if it's old, it's still good.
Yeah.
Can't beat a classic.
No, and like on going back to that whole like the supermarket kind of fake meat products war that's going on in the UK right now, we I think made the sausage patty out of like defrosted Linda McCartney sausage, but you can buy a breakfast sausage burger now from a company called Moving Mountains, which is cool.
I'm gonna write that down. Moving Mountains.
I think it's in Sainsbury's.
It's in Sainsbury's.
Okay. Yeah, I think Sainsbury's have quite a lot of exclusive like vegan stuff, don't they? That no one else has.
Yeah, that's part of the war.
So just give it to everyone. I shop at Tesco's because it's where I work and it's 5 minutes from my house. Think of me. So you've got the ebooks coming out.
No, only the Christmas one's out, which obviously is not very good this time of year, but we've got a Thai e-cookbook coming out and also an Indian one.
Yeah.
And also we'll be doing, well, we've already recorded and edited some cooking classes. There's a series of 7 cooking classes, which is all about Thai food as well. So that'll be coming out soon. We've been starting that one a while, but yeah. It's in our plan.
Is that like on a YouTube channel you've got, or will it just be on your Instagram?
It'll be on our website.
Oh, on your website. Excellent. Will they put links for all your stuff in the comments or the bio bit, the bit underneath the video? And we'll do some playlists for your festivals. Do you want to build the playlist yourself, or are you happy for me to do it, or up to you?
Yeah, you can do it, unless you want to do it.
No, I don't mind.
Yeah, old school Frank Turner and newer school against me. I remember that bit. All right. And then just probably whatever the song number 1 is on Spotify.
Oh, and I hope you like Call It Off.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to check them out. Bit of pop punk, lovely. Yeah, so thank you guys for hanging out this afternoon, or this evening in your case. And
thank you so much for inviting us on. It's been amazing.
Yeah, it's
Thanks.
fun to talk.
Really enjoyable.
Yeah, I'd say I've really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to trying some more of your recipes. Have you got a newsletter as well on the website people should sign up to?
Yeah, we've got a newsletter, and if you sign up to it, you'll get a free ebook, which is all about cooking hacks in the kitchen and cool swaps that you can do. It's around Thai food, but it's like if you would be using fish sauce, like this is what you can use instead. So we've done a whole ebook that should be really helpful if you're new to the kitchen.
Excellent. That sounds helpful for me. I think Emma's on the list, so I'll find that. Yeah, Emma, #1 fan.
Oh, I love Emma. I love talking to her on Instagram.
Yeah, she's been for a run today. I think she's home now, but yeah, she doesn't want to come on the podcast, so I won't be. Emma.
Our love.
Excellent. Okay, well, I still don't know how to end these. I've done 21 now. They check out Vegan Punks on Instagram and Facebook and veganpunks.co.uk.
That will get you there, but it's .com.
Close. Because your email address was .co.uk, I think. That's where I wrote that recently. Yeah, check out Colin's Punk Rock World on all of the places we are, like and CPRW Records. I could announce our next release to end this. That'd be exciting, wouldn't it? Nice exclusive for the thing. We'll do that. So the next CPRW Records release is going to be Ska Around the World. So I've just trawled through Bandcamp and found ska bands from all over the world, and because ska is my first love, and I've not done a ska comp yet, and I think this is the 10th one, so it seems like a good time to do it. So yeah, and that's raising money for a suicide charity that I've forgotten the name of because this is on the fly. Yeah, suicide charity. Suicide is like shockingly high, like a death rate in the UK, and I would imagine everywhere else as well. So we should talk about that more and help people who need it. So the charity I've picked, who I've forgotten the name of, is basically based around that. So
Nice.
Please go and check that out on Bandcamp.
Ska music is a good cause. It's win-win.
Everyone loves ska, and we've learned that recently because Jeff Rosenstock.
Yes, I love that.
That was such a good surprise.
Yeah, did he announce it on like April Fool's and no one believed him or something, and then it just came out? That seems to ring a bell. But yeah, anyway, before I go on another tangent, I will end this because this is a long podcast and I'm not going to edit it down. So yeah, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your time in Bali, and hopefully we can catch up when you're back in the UK at a festival somewhere.
Yeah, we'd love that. Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. It's been great fun. Goodbye, everyone who's listening and watching. Oh, subscribe and follow. That's what you say at the end. Bye.